Hello friends, in this video I'll be talking about the calcium homeostasis, the mechanism of calcium homeostasis and the hormones related with the calcium homeostasis. Okay, so this calcium, talking about the distribution of calcium, out of 100% of calcium that is present in our body, 99% of those calcium they are present in the bones. Okay, and rest 1% of the calcium they are distributed intracellularly as well as extracellularly. Okay, and out of this 1% of the calcium that are present in the blood, some of them are complexed with phosphate, calcium phosphate complex, which is called as the hydroxyapatite form. So this form of calcium is the hydroxyapatite form. Okay, and the biologically active form of calcium are the divalent calcium ions that has the biological activity. Okay, so these divalent calcium ions, they are involved in multiple functions in our body. Okay, so talking about the functions of these calcium ions, they are a very useful factor in neurotransmission. Okay, they are very useful during neurotransmission, or we can say generation of action potential during the neurotransmission. Okay, next, one of the important function of calcium is also the muscle contraction. Okay, and this calcium also being a secondary messenger is involved in the metabolic processes. Okay, for example, during the process of glycogen metabolism or during glycogenolysis, this calcium forms a complex with calmodulin and can directly activate the protein kinase A, which is involved in phosphorylation of glycogen phosphorylase during glycogenolysis process. Okay. So now coming to the normal concentration of these calcium ions in the blood. So the normal concentration of calcium in the blood ranges from 8 to 10 mg per deciliter. It is present at a concentration of 8 to 10 mg per deciliter. And to maintain this optimal range of calcium in the blood, there are different hormones that takes part. Okay, so one of the hormones that is involved in the calcium homeostasis is the PTH, that is the parathyroid hormone. Okay, next is the vitamin D, the activated form of vitamin D, also called as calcitriol. Okay, and next is the calcitonin. So they are the different hormones or factors that takes part in calcium homeostasis. Okay, and their release. Okay, the release of parathyroid and calcitonin, it is different. There is a different stimulus for the release of parathyroid hormones and for the release of calcitonin. Okay, and this vitamin D, which is also a derived lipid, is also involved in calcium homeostasis because the vitamin D, it enhances the intestinal absorption of calcium. Intestinal absorption of calcium. Okay, and the release of parathyroid hormones. Okay, so these parathyroid hormones, they are released when the calcium levels it falls below the normal range. That means during hypocalcemia, the parathyroid hormones they are released, and these parathyroid hormones they tend to increase the level of calcium in the blood. Okay, and the target organs for the calcium homeostasis are the bone, intestine, and the kidneys. Okay, and this parathyroid hormones also activates the enzyme called as 1 alpha hydroxylase that converts the 25 hydroxyvitamin D into 125 dihydroxyvitamin D, which is the activated form of the vitamin D. Okay, then it also enhances the intestinal absorption of calcium from the gut. Okay, now there is a calcitonin which is released from the parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland, and the function of this calcitonin is opposite to that of the parathyroid hormones. Okay, so this parathyroid hormones, it tends to increase the calcium level in the blood, whereas the calcitonin, it decreases the level of the calcium in the blood. That means when the calcium levels reaches beyond the optimal range, the calcitonin is released and it inhibits all those activity that tends to increase the calcium in the blood. For example, it decreases the calcium absorption, and it also it decreases the osteoclast activity that releases calcium ions in the blood. Okay, thank you.